talking to your team about this weekend, and they're saying, hey, yeah, it's going to be a different kind of challenge, but they feel really confident they're going to step up to that. Just how do you feel about, again, just the mentality of this group and the way they're progressing in terms of getting better, staying confident, kind of no fear, but also, having that drive to get better?
Basically everything you say, I've said, I feel really good about. I thought they had a really good practice today, and I think they're prepared. I think all of us are excited going into this weekend. I think they're prepared. I think they've got good energy. They've been very selfless. They've been united. It's time to go to Palm Springs.
It kind of reminds me of, the women's basketball team is talking all year about stay mad. Like, keep continually proving yourself. I kind of get that vibe from your group too. There's no complacency. What's driving them? Are there goals out there that you've set or that you want to achieve? What is keeping them from getting complacent?
I think for them, we have such a long season. I mean, we're going into our third weekend. So I think each weekend we walk away and go, we just got better. We're better than the weekend before. So I think they're looking forward to seeing how much better are they going to be this weekend when it's all said and done. So the challenge of that, and I think each weekend we look a little different, and it's exciting to see what that look is, how that look's going to be.
Any specific elements of the game you're going to be watching then this weekend to see that you can get better in or refine it all?
I'm excited for our pitching staff. I think they would tell you as a group we weren't maybe our very best this past weekend, and I know they're ready to get back on the mound. I would love to see our offense and defense continue with what they've been doing. Like I said, I thought our dugout's been great. They've been doing a good job of creating momentum in the dugout. So just they've been enjoying their time with each other. They enjoy playing with each other, and I think we're just excited to get into the next weekend.
The players vibe like in the dugout during those 18-run games, is it kind of infectious? Like the person in front of me's hitting, I gotta do the same.
Yeah, I think hitting is contagious, and it can go either way. And this past weekend, you got to really see it go in the positive way. I think this past weekend as well, they needed to figure some things out in the dugout as far as, there's times where we're struggling at the plate, and it's easy to create momentum when you're constantly on base, you're getting base hits, but then if we're not getting on base, that momentum's got to come through the dugout. And I think that was a big key part of this past weekend that they figured out.
What were they doing? Yeah, what are you looking for them to do?
Softball, you cheer. That's what you do. It's been a part of, for years. So they would always kind of just rah-rah a little bit, and then Rick Yanez was like, you guys, we need to have a couple cheers. So they got a couple cheers, then they started making up cheers, and you just could see them very excited for each other, really almost in the batter's box, with each other from the dugout. Just good energy. That's what I think is they've just really figured out how to create good energy from the dugout.
Is that something that has to happen organically each season? Are there things you try to do preseason? Hey, we're gonna do this cheer at this point. We're gonna do this at some point in the game, or does that just have to happen organically with each team?
I think it just kind of happens, and that's what's kind of nice about February. You get to go on the road and be with each other on the road for a month, and things start to just naturally happen. And I think that's what happened this past weekend.
It was an offensive explosion last weekend. One stat that really stood out to me was 9 home runs, 6 coming from players who were not in the lineup last year. What does that say about the potential for this lineup the rest of the season, and how excited does that make you?
Yeah, very excited, because I felt coming into the year you were going to see a little more power from us, and maybe just didn't quite see it as much as you would have liked to that first weekend. So to see them relax and just get good pitches, swing at pitches in the strike zone, and then start to see the ball travel a little bit, it was exciting. I think to this, we keep, obviously we're trying to figure out our identity as a team. And I think each weekend we get to get another piece to it. We get to figure out what that identity is. What do we look like? How are we going to go after things on defense, on offense, on the mound?
What did you see from Rachel this offseason? Because a great freshman season, but has taken it up a couple notches so far.
Well, one thing I'll tell you this offseason, she was sidelined a little bit. And it's amazing when you get sidelined, you're watching practice, and you start to maybe get a little different perspective on things. And then when you get the opportunity to come back, not that she ever took anything for granted, but you treat it a little different. You treat things a little different. So I think for her, she's playing free. She's seeing the ball really well. You could see her on a mission, and it's pretty cool.
I'm impressed with how quickly Ariel's adjusted to the college game.
Yeah, definitely. She's done a great job, and she's worked really hard on her swing with Coach Schultz. She's been coachable, which is great. I mean, sometimes you come in and things are great, and then your coaches are asking you to adjust a little bit, and you're like, why? I'm doing just fine. So I think with her being coachable and really trying to understand what Coach Schultz is teaching her has gone a long way. She's scary at the plate. I'm usually even with the umpire, third base umpire, when she's up. So.
What do you remember from the Mary Nutter Classic last year as far as the whole experience of it?
It's a great experience. I think of it as a grand stage. You've got the best of the best there. You're competing against. You have ESPN there. The fans, there's tons of fans there. It's a really neat venue to go in and play. And I think this group's ready to go.
Do you have any questions about how they'll handle that?
You know what? My money's on them. I think they're going to handle it well. I think they've really prepared and have worked hard together. So I'm excited just to go in and let them see them play.
Just circling back to the topic of the dugout vibe. For as good as the vibe seems about your group, they are also, it sounds like, still kind of figuring each other out a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, and I think it takes a little bit. We're going into our third weekend, so there's so much ball to play, a lot of season to go. And I think that's just, we talk a lot about our journey and what our journey is going to look like this year, and we're on our journey. And there's going to be great things that come of it. There's going to be not so great things that come of it. But to me, how do they handle both, in stride and continue on? So one thing I'll tell you with this group is their awareness is on point. Like, we'll get done with the game and they'll see something that we need to be better with, and they really make it a point to take it into the next game, and I like that about them.
Getting a better feel at all about maybe the pitch rotation, strengths, weaknesses, where you want to use certain. What have you learned in your first 2 weekends with this group?
I would tell you, first weekend they came out lights out, fearless. I would tell you the second weekend their mindset was a little different. I would tell you right now, going into Palm Springs, I think we're going to see them in the right mindset, compete and give our team a chance to win every time they step out on the mound. As far as rotations, I think it's kind of early. Like right now, I could tell you that we're really big into matchups and how a certain pitcher would match up to a certain team. And what's nice is that they all are so different that it gives us opportunity to have those different matchups versus just, you're going to be the Friday, you're going to be Saturday, you're going to be Sunday. I think it's still kind of early for that.
But you want to settle into something like that eventually?
Probably.
Okay.
And we'll see. Like, we've got a ways to go. But I just right now want to see them all get out on the mound and get opportunity.
What did you make of Samira? She had a big weekend, it looked like.
Yeah, she did. I really liked how she pitched this weekend. I thought she really came out and we got to see who she is, like the type of pitcher she is. We got to see her personality on the mound. This team loves playing behind her. She's more, I consider her a power pitcher that can throw hard, that can throw soft and has good movement. So I think she gives us a totally different look. And I just was pleased. I thought she was really efficient. She worked ahead, she threw strikes, she was able to throw hard, she was able to throw soft.
What is her personality like out there then?
She, just a ton of great energy. Whether she's on the mound or not, she gives us great energy regardless, and I like that a lot about her. We only get her for 1 year, and you feel a sense of urgency from her because she knows that she only has 1 year with us, and she doesn't waste a moment. She doesn't waste a moment in practice, in the weight room, out on the field. Like, she's very concerned with just not taking anything for granted or taking a day off is what I would say.
So talk about that sense of urgency. What was it like for you? I got to figure this pitcher out. I got to figure out how to push her buttons. What was it like kind of just figuring out how to coach her?
I feel that urgency as well. And just knowing that we only get her for 1 year, for her to come in and us go, okay, well, we're going to tear you down and build you back up, it doesn't make sense, and we don't need to. So it's understanding what her strengths are, how we can increase those strengths, and then what are some things that we might adjust or do a little different that would allow her to do some different things. So we sat down and we really spoke about like a plan for her and how we want to go about it and what's going to happen in the fall, what's happening right now with her. And she's been great.
And distinctly different from what you do with a freshman.
Yeah, freshmen, you got a little more time. They get to settle in a little bit more. She's a grad transfer, so it's no settling in. It's Samaria, let's go. And she's probably saying that more to me, like, Coach, come on, let's go, Coach. So, and I really like that about her.